The Australian outback is unforgiving. The only real proving ground for off-road gear in Australia is getting out there and tackling the toughest real-world conditions without limits. This is the Cruisemaster Rat Run, and this year we go beyond breaking point.
We were having some dust ingress issues on the tub of the Ram with the tonneau cover on, so we thought we'd roll it all up and see what would happen on the dirt roads. As it happens, it completely de-dusted it, blown all the dust out, and it's quite a lot cleaner than it was with the tonneau cover on. So we're assuming that kind of it generates this low pressure area at the back of the tub and everything just gets sucked in, and then once it's in, it can't escape. So whilst it is cleaner in here, obviously dust does get in along the trip. So he's going to make sure everything that is in here is dust sealed in its own right, and the rest of it's much cleaner, so getting in and out of it, moving around in the tub is a lot cleaner than it was before.
Tried to air up this morning and it just heard the leak straight away, so pretty much narrowed it down to just this fitting here where the line goes in. Maybe it's got some grit in it. Cut the line to get a clean end, hopefully get it to seal, but it didn't work, so maybe it's got some junk in it. On the tracks yesterday it probably will run it a bit. Basically, it's probably just a fitting. We've tried cutting it clean. We've tried clearing it out with a bit of air and a bit of WD-40. It'll seal if the line's in straight, but if you wiggle it at all, it just sticks. So, new fitting. Gap at the front. Yeah. On here. Yeah. See that there? That's slipped on the bolt.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Definitely moved. So one of the products we were testing on the Rat Run is a bolt-in subframe. So the idea of that is it allows caravan and trailer manufacturers to easily bolt in a Cruisemaster suspension without having to go all of the pains of welding it in. So this subframe here is held on with 4 bolts in a mounting pattern. There's one on each corner. I'm just filling up the tyre on the other side. I found at the front here we're getting a gap generator that's at the front of the subframe where it joins to the chassis. And the mounting points here at the front have got 2 slots to allow for a bit of variation in the fabrication of the parts. But that slot is allowing the subframe to move. So it's a combination of the slot, probably not getting enough clamp force from the bolt either to react the loads coming in from the tracks. So we need to do a bit more work on that, but this is why we do testing like we do on the Rat Run. Best laid plans this morning to leave Willow Springs a bit earlier. We were actually doing very well. However, I thought we should pump our tyres up because we've got a bit of sealed roads to get to Lee Creek, where we're going to do a supply run, and then we're heading north to Lyndhurst and on to William Creek. There's quite a bit of bitumen in there. So we increased the tyre pressure so we don't damage anything. And whilst I was doing that on the trailer, I found an issue with one of our prototype products, which we've half fixed as best we can. We're hoping it shouldn't present an issue for the rest of the day, but we'll just keep an eye on it as we go. So we're hoping to get a bit further than Williams Creek today. We'll just have to see how we progress, how long it takes to Lee Creek, and then ultimately what the dirt's like when we get back on it at Lyndhurst. So it's going to be an interesting day.
Don't give me milk, God, I want meat, 'cause I've been raising a boy. Yes, I've been raising a boy, but I ain't him anymore. High on high, I need fuel to fan the season. Cold of the light, this ignorance I can't afford. I want my grace empowered peace, so I'm letting go of all that I need. So give me more, God, I want thee, 'cause I've been raising a boy. Yes, I've been raising a boy. Well, I got no excuse, I ain't just a man, I'm a spirit son, I've got heart and hands. I've been raising a boy, but I ain't him anymore. No, I ain't him anymore.
So thinking about this bolt at the front of the subframe, a correctly torqued bolt in that position would generate about 3.6 tons of clamp force. We think the force at that point is about 400 kilos. So in the face of it, it seems it's got a lot, but clearly it slipped, it doesn't. And the bolt breaks at 4 tons. So it's all well and good whilst the bolt is, I guess, in the middle of the slot. When it gets to the extent of the slot, to the point where it gets into shear, are we likely to then see the bolt fail? If the bolt fails and we don't notice, it would be quite catastrophic. The question is, do we leave it and see how it goes? Or do we find somewhere and weld it together, basically?
So the spreadsheet calculator that I used to figure out these bolts suggested that the shear capacity of the bolt was well within our load case. If we start to get really worried, then yeah, welding it in is probably going to be the way to go.
Oh, I've been trying to be what you want me to. Give me something.
So the door on the canopy on one of our test trailers has been getting steadily harder to open every day. We've just found, as we've pulled over here at Lake Eyre and opened up to grab a tool out, it's actually cracked the pivot at the top of the door. So we're just going to start removing a couple of bits, see if we can tighten some parts up and see whether that fixes it, but it has cracked the metal though, so it might be terminal. not quite sure where to from here on this one because I can't weld aluminium.
I can sing along to. Oh, I've been working 9 to 5 just to serve.
So we've removed the pivot bolt in the top of the door here, and there's some nutserts. There's a nutsert in there which it threads into. We found that it's cracked the nutsert, and that's probably let the bolt start moving, which we think's then cracked the door. So now we've got it out, we're going to stick a proper nut on the inside and hopefully do it up enough that it should be able to last a bit longer, hopefully the trip.
Now we're off, for sake. We don't need that washer anymore. Yeah, we'll probably have to take the ratchet straps off the tank. You got spares? Yeah. Okay.
Thresholds can't hold me down. Push through the crossroads and I hit the ground. Yeah. No different picture to the bigger frame. To find my place, I don't need a change. Don't need a change. And I chase there's a river to the ends of the earth, but it won't battle my bones. It won't rattle my bones. Well, my soul is free on this wide open road.
So the issues with the subframe have continued. Whilst we moved it back into place this morning and retorqued the bolt's come loose and the subframe's dropped again. So we don't want to end up in the position where that bolt lets go and the subframe comes loose completely. So we're going to get the wheel off and we're going to weld the subframe to the chassis, so we know it's not going to be a problem. It'll still allow us to test some other features of the subframe. It just means we're not at risk of losing the whole subframe in one go. Also, you'd have seen whilst we were a look at it, like, yeah, we had some problems with the door of the canopy. It's completely broken now, so we've ratchet strapped that on. It seems to seal and latch okay. It just means it'll take a bit longer to get to lunch.
Put it on backwards for the car shop.
Well,
Moving these mountains that are in my view. No room for doubting, gotta see it through. I'm on the road like a renegade. And I'll be the storm and I'll ride the wave. I'm gonna ride this wave. Hey, and I chase there's a river to the ends of the earth. It won't battle my bones, it won't rattle my bones. And I'm taking the reins, the look is cold. I can't be bottled, so you see, I was born bold.
bunch of dash lights.